Man, these Cowboys making me crazy out here, man. That game yesterday was crazy. It was insane. I'm still recovering. I ain't watched football for the rest of the day. It was that crazy. But man, it was nuts. But yeah, y'all know how we do. We gonna talk about sports. We can talk about a little something else. We gonna touch on a little touchy subject, but we gonna talk about sports, and then we gonna talk about something else. Let's get it. All right, y'all. I'm here. We're trying to recover as Cowboys fans from yesterday. That was kind of nuts. That game was nuts. But it's something that I have been saying about these Cowboys that I'm like really skeptical about this year, because it's like we know we're gonna score. We can score. But can we stop anybody? And from the first 2 weeks, no. And you could probably say it's a Micah Parsons effect or whatever you want to say. And obviously he's 1,000% missed. But I've always, when I was doing my watch party on my Twitch stream, so I do like watch parties for Cowboy. I'm going to do it for the Cowboy games pretty much for the rest of the season. I've been enjoying them. It's been really fun. But I was sitting there as that game was going on, and I'm just like, man, this defense, they're not good. And I've always been a believer that Trayvon Diggs is not the greatest corner like everybody makes him seem. I've watched this man get burned by different receivers, big and small, whether they're in their 10th year or their first. I've never been a huge fan of him. I'm going to be honest. And watching just not even just him, this whole secondary get cooked yesterday. And even our front seven, because they're the Giants, first of all, shout out to Russell Wilson. Fucking 450, 3 touchdowns. The man was going crazy yesterday. Both Neighbors and Robinson, I think, had over like 150 apiece, which is freaking nuts. Shout out to their running back too. What's his name? Whose name was like Scatterbo or whatever his name was. That guy is a baller, straight up. The dude's a baller. And Dak was starting off a little rusty. I feel like we started kind of picking it up. That first drive was nuts. The Giants' first drive, literally, I think had like 4 to 5 penalties. It was kind of nuts. They had a long kickoff return to start the game. I think the guy got dang near to our like 30, got called back by holding. And then like there were about 3 calls on the O-line, and I think they were all by one guy, number 55 on the Giants. I don't remember his name, but he was either getting called for holding or false start, and then it was one time he literally just took his hand and just swiped at our defender's head and then had the nerve to complain. But besides all the penalties and both defenses looking not the greatest, yeah, I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time. And the Cowboys always make us do this as fans, us Cowboy fans. Everybody who's Cowboy faithful, we know this. We've seen this story before. And I was sitting there just like a little bit of me, which is like, man, we're going to lose this game. And this will suck starting the season 0-2 against 2 division losses, which really suck, especially the Giants, who we haven't lost to in like, I think Dak hasn't lost to the Giants since his first game playing against them in his rookie year. And then we've pretty much beat them for the last, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years, whatever it is. And I'm like, this would be the game we lose. You got Russell Wilson turning back the clock, balling out. Neighbors was doing his thing. Robinson was doing his thing. Like I said, the scatterboard guy, like that dude was killing it. Our defense sucks. It's bad, and we survived yesterday. We survived. We didn't win. We survived. Shout out to our kicker, Brandon Arbery is freaking amazing. That guy that guy has a leg and accuracy like I don't want to say like none other, but we saw the great kickers through the years. Obviously, like people like obviously like Justin Tucker, at least the most recent. Even the guy we had a guy before. I can't remember his name. It's not Billy Cundiff. It's somebody else, and I can't remember his name. But I remember when we released him, and I was just like, why? And then obviously there's been, like I said, it's been great kickers in the past, but man, this guy, his leg is ridiculous. He hit a 64-yard. He hit a 50, I think a 50, a 60, and like the game winning one was like maybe like a 30 or 40. The man hit like 4 field goals. He's freaking insane. I will say I'm happy that Pickens finally got his first touchdown as a Cowboy, which was nice. Javonte had a good touchdown. So did Miles Sanders. I think at least made up a little bit for that fumble from last week. I guess, but man, these boys always making us sweat, man. And we got Chicago next week. It's a 4:00 game. Like I said, I'll be doing a watch party on my Twitch channel. So if you want to come and see my reactions to everything live, you can come there. Twitch.tv/Big Mama Stuff. That's Big Mama with 2 G's. Yeah, I know how it is. But yeah, that game was insane. But hella respect to Russell Wilson, which I've always been a fan of Russell. He's obviously had like not the best stops in Denver and when he was with Pittsburgh last year. And we know like it hasn't been the greatest since he's left Seattle. But the man can still get it done. And he proved that yesterday. And I think the Giants are gonna be competitive. 100%. I don't know if I could be just like into the moment right now, but their defense isn't terrible. They got a lot of young pieces on that offense that are pretty solid. Like I said, Neighbors had a great year last year. We saw that last year. Slayton's there. I don't think he's that young, but Slayton's there. And then, like I said, the Scatterboard guy and Robinson and that corner, number 22, who like him and Lamb were kind of going at it. I didn't even know about how that's when Lamb got injured. I think it was last year or the year before, and he was the corner covering him. So they have like a little history there and stuff. He got a big pick at one point. He had a big swat down on like a third and 5 or something. It was a big tackle. He tackled Tolbert. Like I think it was like a 3rd and 10, and he tackled him like 5 yards short. It was a really good tackle. The Giants, I hate to say it, the Giants got something. They got something there. They got some young pieces where they can grow. I could see them growing. I think Neighbors and all the other young guys, they're going to benefit from having a Russell Wilson on their team. I know they drafted a quarterback. They put him in for a few plays, but it was like a few just like running plays, some option plays. I think they just like put him in for a couple plays. And you know how New York is. New York sports, you have one bad game, everybody hates you. And they were all over Russell last week. But I think he's at minimum solidified his starting quarterback job at least half the season. I think so. After yesterday, I mean, our defense isn't the best, and you know they're gonna go get better defenses. But shout out to Russell Wilson. He did his thing, and Giants might have a little something there. They might have a little something there, and it's definitely. I like when everybody in the NFC East is good, and we're all just beating up on each other. I enjoy that personally. And I think this is going to be a year where that's going to happen. Like the Giants are 0-2, but Washington also lost, so they're 1-1. We're 1-1, and then Philly, they beat the Chiefs. I did not watch that game at all, but they beat the Chiefs by 3. I don't even know anything crazy that happened in that game. I feel like something might have because people. But yeah, we're gonna go through some of these other games. The Thursday, like I said, the Thursday game was the Packers and the Commanders. The Packers won that game Thursday. Let's see. We got Bengals and Jaguars. The Bengals, they did win yesterday, but Joe Burrow, he hurt his toe, and he's going to be out for 3 months after surgery, a minimum of 3 months. It sucks, man. It sucks. As a fan of Joe Burrow, I hate it. I remember seeing him on the sideline. I'm like, no way. Like they're starting off 2-0 now, and like this is probably, I think last year they started off really, really slow. Do I think they're going to be still competitive? I guess. I forgot who their backup was. It was Browning or something. Yeah, Jake Browning. I don't even know. I've heard the name before. Okay, it's his third year. But yeah, like, I mean, he has a chance to at least keep them afloat with obviously all the weapons that he has with Chase and Higgins and Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. I said Chase and Higgins, but it's, I said Chase. I was thinking of Jamar Chase, but I forgot they have a Chase Brown. And what's up with the Jags? Kind of just choking that away. They were up for most of the game. They seemed like they were in control. Every time I was watching Red Zone and watching Trevor Lawrence, he seemed like he was in control. And then I guess they just broke down. See, like, because after that Cowboy game, I kind of shut off sports for a while. It was a lot going on, and I was just like, I need a break. Not shut off sport, but at least football for a little bit. I did watch the Liberty. We did win our first game. It's the WNBA Playoffs started yesterday. But yeah, we had the Bears and the Lions. Lions kind of stomped all over them. Jared Goff had 5 touchdowns. To them put up 52-21 over Chicago. The big one for the Lions, who looked really, really sluggish week 1. So shout out to them for getting a dub. We had the Rams beat the Titans. Nothing too crazy there. Devontae Adams, he had a touchdown. He had 100 yards, and yeah, that's not really much of a surprise, that win, I guess. We got Patriots and Dolphins. Patriots ended up coming with a 6-point win. It was another one of the chunk of division games that was today, obviously with our game and then that game, another division game. The every time I was seeing the highlights, the Dolphins looked okay. I don't know what happened, what broke down. Like I said, I wasn't really watching. I was so into that Cowboys game. A lot of these 1:00 games kind of just went by the wayside for me. I didn't even know the 49ers won. They won 26-21 over the Saints. Brock Purdy didn't play. I believe Kittle got put on an IR. So that's a huge win. Mac Jones, who's the quarterback. The 49ers are 2-0, which is crazy even after all the injuries and stuff. The Bills beat the Jets 30-10. They had a little bit of a scare with Josh Allen. I think something happened with his nose or something, and I remember looking at Red Zone and they were talking about it like he was going to be out, but he came. I think he didn't play a few plays and he came right back in, and they ended up winning 30-10 over the Jets. Also, I think Justin Fields got hurt in this game as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Bills pulled that one 30-10, division one. We had the Seahawks and the Steelers. I think I remember seeing like highlights from this, and I just remember seeing there was some crazy stuff that was happening in that game. The Seahawks won 31-17. Aaron Rodgers, he didn't play too well. 2 picks. Oh, sheesh. Yeah, 2 picks, only 200 yards. He was 18 for 33. And Sam Darnold played well, even though he had 2 picks. He had 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Kenneth Walker with 100 and a touchdown on the ground. So that was that game. Let's see what else we got here. We got Browns and Ravens. Ravens pretty much ran them out of the building. Lamar had 4 passing touchdowns, which was crazy. Nothing shocking there. Another division game, but nothing shocking there. Broncos and Colts. Colts ended up coming back and winning the game. Shout out to my boy Daniel Jones, man. I'm loving seeing that he's doing well. At least these first 2 games. I remember the Denver was kind of in control of this game, and the Colts came back and won this. He had 300 in a touchdown, 165 for Jonathan Taylor on the ground. No touchdowns, but man, he had a 68-yard run. Yeah, I'm happy for Daniel Jones. I just feel like he needed another system, and it seems like at least for the first 2 games it is working, because he's been playing pretty solid these first 2 games. Then we had the 4:00 games where they got Panthers and the Cardinals. Cardinals won by 5. Like I said, the Eagles and the Chiefs. I wasn't really watching that game. But the Eagles won 20-17. Wait, talk about. Okay, I think the Colts game. I think the Colts game was a late game as well, because I think there was 3 games on. at 4. Usually they have not too many, and it's always it was a 4 o'clock game, the Colts Broncos game. And then it was the nightcap, which was Atlanta and the Vikings. I remember looking at the score, and it was a really low scoring game at half. Falcons ended up winning 22-6. Oh man, McCarthy had 2 interceptions. Robinson, I'm just sitting here just scrolling through the box score right now. Robinson had 140 on the ground. Sheesh. Yeah, was it any touchdowns in this game? It doesn't look like it. It's 22-6. There was a touchdown in the 4th, but where did it come from? Kick return, punt return. I'm scrolling. Because I don't see a touchdown. Oh no. Okay, the Atlanta running back. He's got their only touchdown. It's the only touchdown of the game. So yeah. But yeah, and then we have 2 games tonight. We got the Bucks and Texans, and the Chargers and Raiders. I'm gonna go for that Texans Bucks game. I think that's gonna be a really good one. I'm hoping the Texans win. Obviously because NFC whatever. But I do like the Texans. I'm a fan of CJ Stroud and everything. So, but the Bucks, man, that Bucks look at all right. I feel like they're gonna take their division pretty easily. Wouldn't be too crazy. I'm happy that Baker Mayfield, though, is having some good seasons down there. So shout out to him. And they got a good receiving core down there. I feel like the Bucks are going to win this game, but my heart wants the Texans to win. And then the Chargers Raiders, I kind of don't care. But I would probably go Raiders because I like Geno Smith. I forgot they even picked him up. When I was making my picks last week, I totally forgot that they have Geno Smith now. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Raiders in that game. But that's another game. I believe that's a division game, so that can go anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the NFL. I ain't got much else to say about the NFL. Let me, because I know the WNBA playoffs did start yesterday, and I know the Liberty won. We were playing Phoenix that first round. Phoenix was giving it to us though. It was a good game. It was a really good game. Also looks like Minnesota beat Golden State, pretty much ran them out of the arena. The Dream beat the Fever. 80-68. Kelsey Mitchell did have 27, but because I believe Caitlin Clark's out for the season. I think she's not. I think I did see where she's out for the season or whatever. Like I said, my Liberty, we won 76-69. Cloud led the way with 23 points, and then the Aces being the Aces, they won 102-77. They're probably gonna win that series. I feel like everybody that won yesterday is probably gonna win their series. I could see the Fever winning. Like that going to like this is best of 3 for the first round of the WNBA playoffs. I could see the Fever pushing that to 3 and possibly winning that one. But I feel like the Lynx, the Liberty, and the Aces, even though the Mercury is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. I love Alicia Thomas. Bonner's there, obviously. Like they got a great team. Like I feel like it's gonna be another close one, definitely, in game 2 for us against them. So but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for sports. I kind of want to talk about something and after the break. And it's not usually in my wheelhouse, but I have an opinion. And remember, it's just an opinion. But yeah, we're going to come back and I'm going to get on that topic I kind of want to get on. We'll be back. All right, I'm back. All right. I said I wanted to kind of touch on a topic that I usually don't. And I feel like I kind of have to. There was a couple people that asked me, like, what are your thoughts on the whole Charlie Kirk situation? It's been almost a week since it happened. I remember hearing about it, and it was like a shell shock, really. It was kind of weird. First of all, I want to go by saying I did not cheer this man's death. I will 100% say that. I would never wish death on anyone. It was very similar to when I heard about Hulk Hogan dying a few months ago. And I was just like, I was never really a big fan of him. I heard about all the racist things he said and things. Hulk Hogan I'm talking about at the moment right now. And my thing is just like, I never was a big fan of him. And I said that I would never wish death on anyone, but I just don't care. And with Charlie Kirk, I've watched videos of this man for the last 2 to 3 years. And I will say, I was just like, man, I'm sorry for his kids, sorry for his wife. I'm really sorry to anybody who was like around or there when that happened, because that's really, really scary, first off. But then his wife made a statement, and she pretty much has the same beliefs as he did. And like I said, I would never cheer no one dying. For people who are doing that, you're weird. You're weird as hell. But I'm to a point where I just like I just don't care. That man didn't care about people like me. Being black, being a woman, being a part of the LGBT community. He didn't people like me, if the roles were reversed and I was shot and killed, he would probably say it was my fault for probably getting myself in that situation. So it's really, really hard to have empathy for someone who probably wouldn't have had any empathy for me, who thought women are only good for making babies and being a housewife, and saying that black women don't have the mental capacity to do most things, and saying slavery should still be a thing. I refuse to have empathy for someone who said that when I'm included in every single one of those situations. And like I said, and people could say it's political views or whatever, but no, that's he was a white supremacist. Like I don't understand people who feel like what he said is just political views. I've never voted. I had always had this thing where I was like, I'll never vote. I will say this past year was probably the closest I've been to actually registering to vote and actually voting. And I think I might. I always feel like it doesn't do much. My one little vote isn't going to change anything. But I feel like I need to have my voice, and that's why I think I might like register to vote and at least try to vote for like even like local elections and things and stuff. But back to the main topic, and like I said, I usually don't talk politics, but like I said, I don't the way he went out, it sucks, but he was a believer of the Second Amendment and all this stuff, and the way he talked, and the things he said, it's just how he went out. It's like he spoke it into existence in a way, and it's just a weird feeling. And like I said, I don't wish no one to die. That's not who I am. I feel like if you aren't causing at least any actual, well, I could say he didn't cause harm to people. Technically, he didn't go out and kill anybody, like, but it's just been something that's been weighing on my mind a little bit the last like week since it's happened. I think it happened last Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm recording this on September 15th, by the way. But I don't wish death on people, but I just don't care. And I think that's where I'm going to stand on that. I don't think I care. I don't have a piece of empathy for someone who just didn't care about people like me. So that's my stance on it. I probably will never talk about anything political too much again. I think I have touched on a couple things here and there about Trump here and there. Like I don't keep up with the stuff. Sometimes it just goes across my TikTok feed or when I'm scrolling on some news site or something. Like, but nonetheless, that's my thoughts on him. We're gonna move to something a little bit happier. Let's talk about my stream. I've had these goals for my stream this year, and the biggest one I think I've had was doing 200 streams this year, and the next stream I do will be my 150th stream. So I have about 3.5 months to do 50 more. And I'm proud of myself because I'm definitely past what I've always done. I made this goal late last year. Twitch likes to give us a synopsis or just like a recap of what we did throughout the season, throughout the year as a viewer and as a streamer. And I would look at mine and it would say how many streams I did in a year. And I think my highest was like 130-ish, 140-ish. Last year was like 120. The year before was a little bit lower. Even the year I had COVID definitely was a little bit because I literally took almost over a month off after everything happened with me with that year. Because if you guys didn't know, like me and my uncle both got COVID. He ended up passing away. I was in a hospital for a week. So I took like a month off at least. I remember I obviously didn't stream for the rest of November. The beginning of December was his funeral. And I remember I streamed, I think, like a day before his funeral, a day or two before. And it was tough. But yeah, nonetheless, I have this goal of doing 200 streams. I also had a goal for YouTube, had a goal for TikTok. I'm not super close on those, which is okay. I try not to be too hard on myself, even though I still get hard on myself about it. But I'm still trying to put stuff on my YouTube. These podcasts get uploaded to my YouTube, which is nice. Get some kind of just viewership, kind of attraction to the channel, which is cool. But I'm proud of myself that I'm gonna hit 150 streams. It's gonna be the most streams I ever done in a year, and we're only in September, so I can at least pat myself on the back and say, yeah, I'm doing a little something. I'm trying. I'm trying to make the best of my situation. Which I will say this month has been a little hard. My mental state's been a little rough. I think because of the time of year, with it being a lot of anniversaries of a lot of passings in my family, including my mom, which is literally next month. My aunt, like I said, my uncle, another aunt, and my cousin, and the holidays, not having them around is always tough because they were a big part of not even just obviously my daily life, but like during the holidays, and it would be nice to get together with everybody. And I miss that. I miss that, and I miss them. And from my mom to my uncle to my grandmother to my aunts, my uncles, my cousin, yeah, whoever, and they're missed for sure. So these next like 4 or 5 months are really tough for me. Technically 6 because my grandmother's birthday is February 23rd, which is always kind of hard. My birthday is January 8th, but I had an uncle who passed away the day before. I had my cousin who passed away on the 22nd of December, I believe. My mom's birthday and my mom and aunt's birthday is the 27th of December. My uncle lived with me. My uncle Bobo, his anniversary, his passing is the 14th of November. My aunt is the 13th of November, and then my mom and her twin sister, who's obviously my other aunt, they're both in October, 12 days apart. My mom passed on the 16th of 98. My aunt passed away on the 28th of 2003. So I think it's just the time of year, which is getting to me a little bit because I've been kind of down, kind of just like not knowing what I want to do next. Feeling like I'm not a part of anything anymore, or just feel like I'm just not. I don't know. I just been feeling left out, or just feeling like I don't belong anywhere. So it's been a little rough last like few weeks, but therapy's been going well. I've been trying to like express myself there and My therapist is great and everything. She's always really encouraging, and stuff about things that I want to do. Without therapy the last few years, I probably would have lost my mind. It's definitely been helpful to have an outlet to kind of like express myself and not overwhelm my friends and family with it. And that's been the biggest thing. I think it's definitely been helpful. Therapy can be very, very hard. There's been times it's been very, very mentally taxing. My most recent time that I remember it being taxing was my mom, who passed away in 98. I was 90 years old. She had diabetes and didn't tell anybody. Her blood sugar went up, I don't know, like I think I was told like 700-800 or something crazy like that. The night before she passed, I went to my aunt's house because she couldn't get me ready for school. And I remember we were all there, and then we left. And it took me all this time to think, from that Thursday night to that Friday morning, that she was alone. And it hit me. And I just was like, she was alone for that whole time. No one was there. She was just her and her thoughts. And it really got me. And it really got to me that day. So it was a rough. I remember when I first this was probably like a month ago, and I remember thinking about that, and it really messed me up. It messed me up for a little bit, for a few days. It was really bad, just thinking about the fact that she was by herself for that period of time. And the next morning, my grandmother told me the story how she rushed over there, and my mom, who was pretty much taking her last breath, was saying my name. And people always ask me why I don't like people calling me my full name, and that's usually why, because she kept saying Stephanie, take care of Stephanie, telling my grandma this. So it's always really hard to kind of like hear my name because of that. I'd rather people call me Steph. But yeah, like that was something that really kind of hit me a little bit this past month, about a month ago. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it. But like I said, like streams have been going all right. I've been enjoying Marvel Rivals still. I'm addicted. I actually recently started playing Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm hoping to finish that within the next month or two. And like I said, I'm still addicted to Marvel Rivals and stuff, and I've been enjoying that and everything. But yeah, we're gonna call it. I'm hoping I'll try to get another episode a little later in the week, kind of recapping the games, kind of updating everything what's going on. Sorry, this got a little sad, but I'm trying to make the best of what I have, and appreciate the people I have in my life, from my cousins to my friends, who like feel like family as well. So, but I love you guys. Thank you for listening if you've been here this long. But follow me on all the socials. Big Mama Steph is everywhere pretty much, on Twitch. TikTok is Big Mama Steph _, but I feel like you'll find me if you just search it. Big Mama Steph on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Like I said, come by the Twitch. We like to have fun, and we just be chilling and vibing. I'll just be listening to all the jams, and I'm a millennial, so I pretty much listen to a little bit of everything. It's kind of crazy what kind of stuff comes up on my shuffle when I shuffle my like songs on Spotify. But yeah, I do appreciate everybody for all the love, whether it's here or on the streams or just in general. I do appreciate all the people I have in my life. But yeah, love your faces. Stay beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. Remember to drink your water, check on a homie, and remember you're loved. Peace.